Stuart. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And as Stuart said, I'm president of Lindenwood. Let me just kind of go through a couple of points here. Our commitment to excellence in education extends beyond certainly our campus borders. We recognize that strong schools across our state contribute significantly to the fabric of our society. So it is with this vision that we have forged a strategic partnership with Qedex and their transformative educator program. So let me just highlight some key points that underscores really the significance of this collaboration. I appreciate the two districts that we have that are really driving some great things. So there's kind of like 6 quick points here. One is empowering teachers. As we all know, successful teaching and learning in K12 education hinges upon dedicated, well-prepared educators who engage in ongoing professional development. So our teachers are the architects of our students' futures, and their commitment is imperative. The second is really social responsibility. Lindenwood University understands the social value of robust educational institutions. So by partnering with Qedex, we actively contribute to the broader educational landscape, fostering a positive impact in our community and beyond. Pioneering districts, 2 of our close partner districts, the St. Charles School District and the Lincoln County R3 School District, have embraced this innovation. So they've chosen to be pioneers, piloting the transformative educator program with approximately 50 in-service teachers, and really have seen fantastic success. So let's get into that. What's positive feedback? The feedback and program evaluations from this initial group of teachers has been overwhelmingly positive, and participants report learning new ways to think about their classroom practices. And so what does this equate to? You think about student outcomes. So there is a distinct benefit to student outcomes when transformative learning principles are woven into instructional practice. So our students thrive when their teachers are equipped with the latest tools and strategies. And then the last piece, number 6, I'll say, scaling impact. Lindenwood and Qedex are committed to expanding this program. So we aim to roll it out across the state and nationally, collaborating with districts to assist with meeting their professional development goals. Our focus remains on providing cost-effective, impactful, and meaningful learning opportunities for educators. So investment in our teachers today will yield dividends for our students, as you well know, our community, and our collective future. So I hope today you'll see the value of this transformative educator program and feel really excited about the potential it holds. So just some quick opening remarks, but just to kind of level set and how excited we are about this. So
I have 3 points that I've asked to discuss with you all today. The first is, why do we take on the project? The second one is challenges, and the third then is, how can this transformative learning, basically what can that address in our schools? So first of all, I'd like to thanks for the opportunity to be on here today. It's great to see you. I see a lot of familiar faces on the call too, so it's great to see you all. And we are, first of all, why we take on the project. First of all, when Lindenwood calls, you don't usually say no. You say yes because you know great things are going to happen when you are partnering with Lindenwood. And you can look back here, and I've got 3 degrees from there, but from Lindenwood. But that is an unbiased opinion. I can just tell you, as a partner and being in their backyard, we are blessed to have a university that is not only on the cutting edge, but also truly wanting to partner with local school districts, not just St. Charles and Lincoln, but Lincoln County and Troy, but everybody around us to not only better our staff, but also better our students. So that's why we joined. First of all, is because our partnership with Lindenwood is so strong, and we know they do great things, and we want to be a part of it. We don't want to be left out. We want to be on that cutting edge. So secondly, with why we took on the project, we're always looking for ways to bring PD to our staff and improve those instructional strategies. We'll talk about challenges in just a second, and it is crucial that we continue to diversify our teacher toolbox and making sure that they have everything they need to make sure that they're engaging our students on a regular basis every day in the classroom. And that's also to meet learning needs of not just students, but also of staff. Our staff have those learning needs as well. And then the number one thing, and Dr. Porter already mentioned it, is learning outcomes. We want to make sure that we are putting our staff in the best possible situation possible to make sure that they are effectively creating positive learning outcomes for our students. Here in the City of St. Charles School District, we truly believe that all students, not just a portion of them, but all of our students can learn at high levels, and it's our opportunity and our privilege to make sure that happens on a daily basis. So challenges, I got two for you today. One is the ever-changing workforce. You talk about teacher shortage. 10, 15 years ago, people would say, hey, we got a shortage coming. I'm like, I see a lot of teaching. I see a lot of teachers coming out. We don't see that now. We do see that shortage. We do see that we do need to develop teachers and develop people to come to the classroom. So this type of professional development and opportunities for our staff to learn works on that retention piece and making sure that we can continue to keep our teachers equipped in the classroom. When they feel equipped, when they feel ready, when they feel teachers feel just like students, teachers need to feel inspired. Teachers need to feel equipped and supportive in those things. So when they feel that way, we retain our teachers and we support our teachers 100% here in the City of St. Charles School District. And we've got 900 of the best staff members you can find. And the second piece is meeting needs of our wide range of learners. We have, when you're talking about a public education setting of 5,000 students, we have the range of needs learning wise for our students is great. And so we are always looking for ways to make sure that we're able to personalize the learning and make sure that we're connecting with each and every student in that classroom. So I've already mentioned these things a little bit, but very quickly, a list of what transformative education addresses for us. I already talked about a few of them, but diversify the teacher toolbox, really working on that mindset and critical thinking. Also personalized learning, real world experience, hands-on learning experiences for our staff and students. And obviously that equals expanding perspectives. And then also just developing those 21st century skills for staff and students. And I thought this was interesting. We're going to hear from one of our teachers in just a second, but I had some of our teachers send in some responses, and I thought this was a key response to this person's perspective on what they learned during the process. And they said, the information shared on helping students connect to the material and generalized learning beyond the classrooms. We're not just talking about in the room, we're talking about beyond the classroom, was probably the most helpful part of the course. And I thought that was pretty interesting to add. So again, we want to thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Dr. Porter, for the opportunity. And we want to continue to do great things with Lindenwood for our staff and for our students.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm Daniel Kirk, Dean of the College of Education, Human Services at Lindenwood. Really, I mean, Dr. Porter and Dr. Sefrit there, I think, hit the nail on the head in terms of the why of this program, right? There is a definite need out there. We know that professional development in the education space is a competitive market. We know that professional development is hard often for folks to access based on need, based on cost, and based on location. And so I think one of the exciting things about this program from our college's perspective and Lindenwood's perspective is that it aligns with our mission. And our mission here at Lindenwood really is centered around two words: students first. We put our students first on this campus all day, every day. Everything we do, every decision we make is based around putting our students at the forefront of our work and making sure that their needs, not only their academic needs, but their social, their athletic, their community needs are met. And so I think working alongside Dr. Sefrit and Dr. Penny, who's not here, who is the superintendent of the other district who was working on this pilot project with us, really allows us to live out our mission in the K12 space and meet the needs of professional development for those teachers in those districts, many of whom, we also have to say, are Lindenwood grads and did their teacher preparation through us. So we're also having that continuity of practice there with our individuals. We are looking to prepare students for the future, a future that is uncertain, a future that we don't know in terms of what roles and jobs are going to come up, right? We see every day, articles and research around preparing students for jobs and careers that haven't even existed yet. Well, this program helps meet some of that need, because if we're going to put students first, we have to have educators who are highly qualified, highly prepared, and highly motivated. And one way we do that is providing professional development and providing opportunities for them to grow in their careers. Dr. Sefrit spoke about teacher shortage. It's a global issue. There is a global shortage of teachers, and the competition for teachers amongst schools and districts and education employers is becoming more and more dog eat dog. It's becoming far harder to recruit and far harder, maybe more critically, to retain those students, those teachers. So we also have a teacher retainment issue as well as a recruitment issue. One of the reasons teachers leave the profession in those 3 to 5 years is because of professional development and career opportunities that they don't see aligning with their needs and what they see in the classroom. This program helps meet that need. This program is not a pedagogy. It's not something that we just bolt onto what teachers are doing. It's not another thing for teachers to deal with. It's a process and a program that allows teachers to reflect on the way that their classroom instruction works, reflect on how they work with their students and get the best out of their students, how they work alongside those learners in terms of those learners understanding their own place in the learning landscape, and embedding some of these practices and some of these ways of working into their daily instruction and into their daily interaction with the students. As Stuart mentioned, this is a model that has been highly successful in higher education over the last 15 to 20 years. No one was doing this in the K12 space. Someone should be, and this is this partnership that Lindenwood has taken on with Qedex to allow us to do that. Because in this space, it's so critical, because those early years in the K12, our learners are needing those skills to come out and become productive citizens, productive members of the labour market. And to do that, they need more than just the siloed content that we deliver during our classes. So I'm really excited about this partnership. I think it has potential to grow across the state and across the nation and really have a foundational impact in the learning space of the K12 sector. And alongside our districts, one thing I think we need to highlight is our partner districts who have run this pilot have not only been partners in rolling this program out and helping us develop and refine it, but also case studies to undertake the foundational educational research that we need to be able to back up what we're saying. We want to be able to show that there are learning gains in student outcome and student success, and gains in teacher efficacy. And to do that, collecting the data through these programs is going to be key. And as we roll this out, we'll gather more and more of that data to show how effective this program can be. But on behalf of the College of Education and Human Services here at Lindenwood, we're excited. We thank greatly Dr. Sefrit, Dr. Penny, and our other partners in working alongside us on this. And we're really excited to see how this can grow.
Yeah. Okay, so Transformative Educator Program is a 12-week online program, which is asynchronous, and it comes with 90-minute meetings and webinars after the conclusion of each course. It's all based around the transformative learning pedagogy, which comes back to Jack Mesra in the 70s. So what is transformative learning? It's a type of learning that stimulates change after encountering new information or circumstances that are not in line with what was previously thought. That is often known as a disorienting dilemma in the world of transformative learning. I'll give you an example. For if we could say that the earth is flat. So a kid has been taught all his life from his family or wherever that the earth is flat, and then one day comes along and someone tells him that the earth is round. And so that he has to go through this whole disorienting dilemma to kind of like comprehend what this means and how does that mean, you know, the world is shaped and all these kind of things. So it's kind of like a disorienting dilemma. It encourages students to broaden their perspective or change their mindset through their involvement in critically thinking or reflecting on themselves, so that change occurs because of the student's awareness without any coercion from the lecturer. But the foundation of transformative learning is critical self-reflection. And this is a skill that students must develop to overcome beliefs and thought patterns that limit and interfere with their effectiveness as individuals. So yeah, the program is based on going through these steps that kind of give you an overview about what transformative learning is, how do we apply it into a classroom, how do we assess it, and how do we become that kind of agent of change. So what are the benefits of transformative learning? As well as about 10, 15 years of really impressive data coming out of the University of Central Oklahoma, we've kind of like gathered all this other information as well on transformative learning. We can see here that these are the benefits such as expanded perspective, increased self-awareness, empowerment, increased tolerance, positive behavior change, and the adaptability. So these are the kind of the key areas which we've seen have a real strong impact on students coming through our programs, as well as the faculty. Obviously, the faculty and teachers firstly go through a transformation themselves, and then they're able to apply these teaching strategies as they go through and have that same kind of impact. Just on a side note, we are currently running projects throughout the world, all through South America, the Middle East, Indonesia, and Asia. And the feedback has been phenomenal, and it's been the same across the whole world. So it really is kind of like driving home that the need that we've got something new that is relevant for the kids of this generation, for the 21st century, and it's working. So yeah, it's all very, very encouraging to think that we can start applying these skills for students. So the program that we've put together with Lindenwood, it's a 12-week program, as I mentioned, and we have facilitators from Dr. Kirk's College of Education and Human Services, and they will be facilitating, also being kind of like mentors for future teachers coming through the program. One of the pluses also is that it also meets the CEUs, or the relicensure standards of Missouri, but also those 3 graduate credits as well. So course 1 is all about transformative learning in K12 education. Yeah, it gives you a good oversight of the history of TL and how it becomes like a, really into someone's just joining me, excuse me. And course 2 is all about implementing TL in the classroom, curriculum, and institutionally. So these courses are 3 weeks each, and at the end of each 3 weeks, we have a webinar. Then we open the course. It's all about kind of like sharing your feedback and your reflections yourself on your journey as you go through this program. And then course 3 is all about how do we assess the impact of transformative learning. So this is a different kind of proposition than your typical grading for exams and tests. How do we assess soft skills or critical reflection? So there's a whole lot of tools that we've put together in this program that really help K12 teachers of all levels. And then the final course is all about becoming that agent of change. What do you need? What tools and support do you need to make that kind of that snowball effect within your school or your district, etc. So we really kind of like see the bigger picture here is that for any kind of school to go through this program, we want you to start out small. Start out small with a cohort of teachers, and then we can provide you with all the tools and skill set that you need to make decisions on if we want to kind of like roll this out. So it's been really phenomenal, and as I said, everyone gets the certificate of achievement coming in from LU and Qedex, and also it's as I said, it comes with those 3 graduate credit CEUs. Feedback from Troy Middle School and St. Charles has been absolutely phenomenal. So we're thrilled to pieces about what we've learned. Some of the feedback did indicate that we needed to adapt it more for K12, and we took on that feedback, and we've created a focus group. And this focus group is actually helping us go through the entire program and applying some fresh material for all elementary levels and K12, etc. But we're really kind of like focusing on making this a really fresh, relevant program for all of teachers in the USA and Missouri. So how would you rate the overall, it's pretty small text at the very bottom there, but how would you rate the overall content quality of the Transformative Educator program? The majority out of 50, I think there's 44 responses out of 50. And you can see here that the majority was very, very positive. How to adapt existing assignments to elicit quality student critical reflections about their own development in a range of areas. Slightly less, which I did indicate about the need for us to provide more kind of assignments and quality. So we've taken that on board, but still it's a great response. And how to implement a centered learning approach as an organizing pedagogical principle. But most importantly, would you recommend the Transformative Educator program to your colleagues and institution? And overwhelmingly a big fat yes. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience for them, for us. And as I said, this is just the beginning of our journey. We've got a long way to go, and our vision really is to slowly take this program, this project that we've started with St. Charles and Troy, and then kind of like offer this within Missouri. From Missouri, we want to collect enough data and evidence to show that it really is kind of like something that is really important for society and for K12 teaching. From that point, we hope to have enough momentum which we can then kind of like expand and strategically go through and kind of like apply this in different states. But Missouri is the key state for us. We're totally committed for the success of this program, as is Lindenwood University. So again, you know, we're very kind of like privileged to be working with them through this thing.
Questions I had was, prior to going into the schools and unpacking and unrolling this curriculum, are you looking at school report card data and other things like that? School counselors tend to go in first thing and try and figure out where each school is so different in what their needs are. In fact, in St. Louis, we've got so many different issues at different school districts. I know because I supervise school counselors and school-based mental health therapists. And I think Maggie's here for behavior analysis, but just curious how you kind of start this process to figure out how to customize it for that group of students. I may have missed that, but I was curious.
I disagree. I think one of the most powerful aspects of this program is that it is not domain specific. It doesn't, you know, we're not addressing, you know, the needs of a school counselor versus the needs of an elementary teacher versus the needs of a 9th grade, you know, math teacher. The program is far more holistic. So I think, you know, it's deliberately not domain specific. So certainly as it rolls out, there is worth here for not only those who are in a traditional classroom instructional role, but those support, as Dr. Sefrit said, there are staff and other allied professionals who, you know, will benefit from this program, because it's all about how you deal with the individual in front of you, whether that be a class of 30 messy elementary kids running around, or whether that be a one-on-one with a high schooler or someone in a clinical practice who is talking through, you know, mental health concerns with a counsellor. So I think the non-domain specificity of this is really what's quite powerful.
Hi, I'm Christine Dalton. I am an elementary ELD, English language development teacher. I mostly focus at the elementary, especially in the 3rd, 4th grade. I work at the City of St. Charles School District, and I have been a teacher for 23 years. All three of those 23 years have been working with students learning another language. I think one of the biggest challenges that I see that we're facing is the kids are lacking independence and grit. It could be anything from when I'm doing breakfast duty and the kids fill one table at a time, and we have kids kindergarten through 4th grade, which is how our elementary is structured. They come in and stare at me, and I have to ask them, where's everyone else sitting? And then they have to like look for some kind of like sign, like, is it okay for me to go sit down? So being able to build their independence, build their grit. That's one of the reasons why I started looking at transformative learning when Dr. Seifert had sent out an email. I was thinking, I've been in education for a while. I think it's time that we start looking at ways that we can transform and become greater. Sorry, I use my hands a lot because I work with students who don't speak English. So if you see them flying around, I'm sorry. 23 years, you can't get out of it. But I believe that that change needs to move or needs to happen so that we can move in a direction where students are ready to go into that secondary and post-secondary level and become employees that employers want. And when I started with backwards design, at first, I started looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is stuff I already know. But then I realized it's put together in a different way. I was already familiar with backwards design. At my building, we take the curriculum, we take the Missouri standards, we are funneling it back. We are doing that backwards design, but looking at backwards design through the eyes of what can we do during these points to help our students become more independent, be able to express their needs, be able to express their thoughts and not just regurgitate information that we're giving to them, is something that is really central to transformative learning. And one of the hinge pins is that critical reflection. I might have students give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, but not taking it to that level of critical reflection, which is very important in transformative learning, because that's when it really starts clicking for those kids. When they start looking at their own thinking, how they've changed over time, how they were thinking at the beginning of something, in the middle, towards the end, and looking at all of that as a whole. That's when we really start seeing that growth. And something that really caught me was actually an example that was in the training about a Harvard professor that had never really learned how to swim. And so he decided, I'm going to learn to swim. And he went to go learn how to swim. And the swim instructor was a great instructor, was showing him what to do, but he just didn't get it. Like, he moved his arms like the instructor was, but he was going under. And that was really funny because it reminded me of when I was in summer camp when I was 7 years old. My mom sent me to summer camp and put me in swim lessons. But do you know what? The swim lesson instructor isn't the person that taught me how to swim. It was another 7-year-old that asked me, do you know how to dead man's float? And I go, yeah. And goes, okay, well, just start moving your arms and legs. And that's how I learned how to swim. And that's part of transformative learning, is the students are involved in the learning and the teaching also. It's not just the teacher. Like, we've gotten away from the sage on the stage, and involving the students in being able to teach the other students. With being an ELD teacher, I have a group of newcomers that are from Central and South America. Right now, I have 5 boys that all speak Spanish, and I don't. So we have phones and tablets going, but I'll teach something, and then I'll ask them, what do you think? How do you think you would go about this? And so they would teach each other in Spanish. And in a 4th grade class where I co-teach at, either the co-teacher or myself, we might teach a concept in mathematics. Like, one of the things that we had been doing was adding fractions with unlike denominators. And the kids weren't getting it, and we had just gotten through that portion of the course in transformative learning, where it went into allowing the students to share their knowledge and teach each other. So I talked to my co-teacher. I said, why don't we teach today? And then, because we were working on the I do, we do, you do model, and on the we do, have them do this in a group. But then once we see that a group has a correct answer, have someone come up and explain how they got their answer. And we found it was very interesting that the students were explaining in a different way than the co-teacher and myself were. And it was working. The kids understood what the other students were saying. So that was just one of the key things from transformative learning that has really stuck with me. And it's really made a huge impact in my classroom and the classrooms that I go to. Sorry, I got so involved. I missed where I am in my notes. But yeah, basically nothing breeds success like success. So if the students are being successful and they can help each other, we all know that that saying that to really understand a concept, you need to be able to teach it. Even if you're only able to teach it a little bit, that confidence of being able to teach other students is going to make you want to go forward and dive deeper. Put yourself out on that ledge, be open to learning, be open to doing more things. And that builds that leadership. It builds that independence. It builds that grit. It's those small little successes that build upon each other. And that's something that was talked about through transformative learning in my when I was learning it. So overall, I recommend that the state of Missouri should look further into transformative learning through trainings and beginning to learn how through kindergarten, through post-secondary, how to create these capable learners that have the leadership skills, the determination, the can-do attitude that will help them become the type of employees that employers are looking for. If we can equip students to be able to think, then we have been successful. And I think transformative learning will really allow us to get there. Does anyone have any questions for me since I'm actually here? I feel more proud of the students. I feel like, you have all the building blocks, but you don't know how to always build the tower. And transformative learning has taught me how to take those building blocks I already had and create a new tower that has enabled the students to be more successful. And that gives me joy, and that invigorates me in learning and finding new ways to put together projects or allow the students to be more engaged in their learning. Because when I see them learning and succeeding, that's what invigorates me as a teacher.
Mhm.